Hi, I apologize in advance for the noise of the air conditioning kicking on and off. It's a particularly hot day here in Southern California today, and we have a wonderful, fairly new air conditioning unit going. Cools off this place quickly, efficiently. We pay almost nothing for our electricity here, but it's loud. So, sorry about that. So, topic of this video has to do with recovery time from surgery. That's a question that I see posted here and there, and asked and bandied about as to what is a typical recovery time, how quickly did you go back to work, yada yada. I just want to give maybe a differing viewpoint in that I'm taking a lot longer to go through my recovery period than so far anyone that I know. There's several reasons for that. But before I get to that, just a little rant. From my way of thinking, it seems like when I see this question posted and answered online, people seem to dive right in, and it's almost like a one-upmanship of who can have the shortest recovery period. So I'll see somebody who will say 2 weeks, and then someone will say, well, I went back in a week. And then somebody will post, well, I went back in 3 days. And then somebody will post, I went back the day after. Good for you. I don't know. I mean, this is something to be proud of. Maybe. I don't know. To me, your body, and for me, mind and soul and a few other things need to recover. And if you have the ability, the financial ability, whatever other reason that you would have for not fully recovering before going back to work or whatever it is that you were doing before the surgery, if you have the ability to take a little longer, I'm making a case for taking a little longer if you can. Okay, now as to my own situation and why it's taking so long, this is probably unusual in that not too many people would have gone through all the things that I went through before I had my bariatric surgery. I got approved back, I first went to seek out information about bariatric surgery and get signed up for the program that I was going to go through the end of January 2013. At that time, I had been following Jenny Craig first, and then went on my own because I couldn't tolerate the processed foods that Jenny Craig has. But Jenny Craig helped me with portion control, so I'm grateful to them for that. But anyway, I'd lost some weight, but I knew that for me to lose all that I really needed to lose and to keep it off, I had to do something drastically different. So that was January, the end of January. Well, then what happened in February is that I became seriously food intolerant, mainly, most especially as it turned out, to be gluten intolerant. Went through a whole lot of testing, found out it was not celiac. I'm just very intolerant. But it did me a favor, got me off of gluten. I'm forever grateful. I was able to drop, I think it's probably, I would attribute 15 to 20 pounds due to being gluten-free. So that was wonderful. I also found that or confirmed something I already suspected, which was I'm somewhat lactose intolerant. Yeah, I can take it from time to time. Other times it's just not good for me, even if I don't hurt from it like I did with the gluten. By the way, I had severe abdominal pain with the gluten intolerances, and so it was easy for me to get off of that. I don't want to avoid pain. With the dairy, it was more that my ankles swell, my feet swell. I've seen that reaction in others in my family, and for me, the answer was going off of dairy. Swelling went away immediately, like the next day or two, and weight goes down too when I'm dairy-free. Okay, so what were these issues that kept me from surgery? It wasn't the food intolerance. Well, actually, it was the food intolerance. Let me get right to that one. One of the hurdles was between the nutritionist and the psychologist who had to clear me for this procedure. They were very concerned that with all of my food intolerances that I would be able to find something post-surgery to be able to eat and thrive upon, since I was also soy-free at the first time I was talking to them. So no whey-based, no soy-based protein shakes for me. So they're like, well, what else are you going to do? Well, I had happened upon pea protein, and I've mentioned that too, and I don't want to go into too much depth with that. But they hadn't heard of pea protein, hadn't really researched it, and kind of doubted it. And they kind of doubted my whole motivation or whatever, because I was being so stubborn about the food intolerances, which I think they thought this of me. And whatever, they drew that conclusion, but my doctor set them straight pretty quickly, and on we went. But anyway, so that accounted for maybe a 2-week delay in the process. But then what happened was I had a hernia, and this is an umbilical hernia, not the hiatal one, which we later found. Umbilical hernia that became strangulated, and dangerously so. So I had to have a surgery for that. A month later, I'm recovering from that. And then a month later, my jaw was really hurting, and I thought, okay, some dental work that's been put off, I need to go take care of it. Went in, got root canals, but then the dentist said, you need to go to an oral surgeon because I'm seeing something kind of unusual here, and I'm not sure what it is. Well, I put it off for a little bit because I had a long planned family reunion. My daughter lives in Scotland, and she was coming to the U.S., and there was no way I wasn't going to see her and my grandson. So I put that off for a while. The jaw became worse. It turned out to be an infection that was really bad, bacterial infection in my jaw that spread, and I ended up in the hospital for 8 days, very seriously having this run amok, and my neck going big, and again, a whole nother story. So that was my second procedure. Oh, well, I skipped one. I had gone to the oral surgeon and found out that I had a piece of necrotic bone in my jaw. So that had to be surgically removed. When he did that, he discovered the jaw infection. Okay, so oral surgery was the second thing. Hospital stay for the infection that was discovered was the third thing that went on. I was on antibiotics for 3 months, 1 month of which was with a PICC line and IV antibiotics. Pretty heavy duty stuff, and needless to say, the bariatric surgery got put off, you think. I finally got approved for the bariatric surgery after a whole lot of specialists weighed in on it and weighed all the things, because I was still really recovering from the bacterial infection plus all the effects of the antibiotics that are long-term like that. So it was kind of a risk to go on and subject my body to yet another trauma. But the overall benefit of it, and when explaining that once I go back to work, it's going to be a long, long time before I would be able to take off again. It was decided by all involved that I should just go on and get the bariatric surgery done with the close and careful care of a whole lot of people. So it definitely has taken a village to raise me. So, okay, so this is my very long-winded background of why I'm taking longer to recover. I'm on my 4th week. I'm still home from work. I have the luxury of having both state disability and privately funded, insurance, Aetna, through my employer is picking up the rest. So I'm receiving 100% of my pay throughout this time period. And however, Aetna typically will cut you off, certainly by 4 weeks. And I'm at the 4-week thing today. And so today was to have been my return back to work. had I been solely under Aetna's time frame. However, I am under the care of a lot of doctors. I'm not completely recovered. I don't even know if you could say halfway. I don't know what you count as recovery. Here's what I count as recovery. Could I sit at a desk and do my job right now? To some extent, yes. But my issues include feeling really exhausted. There are times where sometimes I can't even walk. Other times I can walk around the block and then some, around the neighborhood, but then pay for it the next day with being exhausted and barely able to move. I still have problems from time to time with nausea. I think I'll address that issue at another time too. I think it's largely tied into constipation with me, I think. I have problems with brain fog, memory issues, a little bit of depression, but that's lifelong with me. Again, topic for another time. A lot of things are coming, out at once, but I have this overall feeling of exhaustion, and since I don't have anything else to compare it with, not having had bariatric surgery before without all these issues, I don't know how this compares to the usual. But for me, I am exhausted a lot of the time. And if I can, and I have the support of my manager on this, and certainly my doctor is essentially ordering it, if I can, I really want to allow myself the full recovery time. And this has included the last couple of weeks physical therapy to get me stronger, although I'm taking a break from that right now because in of itself I think it has impeded my recuperation, and then I'm getting overexhausted. I'm an overachiever, and I've done too much and tried too hard, I think might be the issue. But I'm also taking this time to work on the deeper issues, the mental issues, the emotional issues that got me to where I am or where I was with my weight. And, I just want to deal with these things while I'm in a good place and feeling fully supported in so many ways. So I just want to make a case for longer recovery if indeed you can do that. Take the time to let your body heal. Take the time to start going into those issues if you have them. And I'm assuming that most people who get to the point where they're obese enough to have this surgery, you probably got some issues. Am I saying anything surprising? Take the time. Give yourself the time. Give yourself the okay to do it. Don't feel guilty about it. Don't feel lazy about it. Don't feel like, oh my goodness, because that person went back to work in 2 days. What am I, a wimp? What am I, some kind of defective person that I can't just snap out of it right away? Give yourself the time. So that's what I wanted to say. I'm giving myself the time. Right now, I know I'm looking at least a 6-week recovery. I'm going back to the doctor in 2 weeks, and we'll revisit the whole situation, see where I am at that time. Aetna may or may not decide to continue with subsidizing their part of my disability. They may put me on leave without pay for a while. So be it. I'm going to take the time. I do have the state disability approved at least until mid-September. So the pressure's off financially for me, at least most of the way. And even if it weren't, I really want to take this time while I can, while I don't have a threat of losing my job or whatever. So whatever reasons you have that are keeping you from feeling like you're, face it, I'm not sure that any of us are going to be 100%. This is a major surgery, and we're getting very few calories And as a natural result, I think we're all going to be tired or have some of their after effects. That's a given. But I mean, beyond that, give yourself the chance to heal. I'm going to do that, and I just wanted to make that case. So I've taught this to death. Thanks for listening this long, and please leave comments, agree, disagree, whatever you want to do. Feel free, and have a great one. And my heart goes out to those of you who are unsupported in your journey, whether it's from family, friends, monetarily, any other way. I'm really sorry to learn how much difficulty it is for probably most people. I'm very fortunate. I'm very well aware of that. So if there's anything that I can do to help while I am out and at home with a little bit more time and energy, let me know. Hugs to you all. Have a great one.